I finally made it. I've finished my 30-day Lion Diet Challenge where I had only beef, lamb, salt, water, mostly soda water, and no coffee and no alcohol for 30 days. Now I actually finished this challenge about a week and a half ago, and I've been putting off making this video. I could make any sort of excuse not to make this video, but I did say I was going to do it. So this is a wrap up of what I've got out of that, what I actually learned. If you haven't watched any of my previous videos in this series about the Lion Diet Challenge, you might be wondering, well, why would I want to do something like this? Well, it's mostly because of this lady, Nia, who has a channel called Nia's Way. Now, Nia has been eating the carnivore way for a period of time, like I have. I started in June of last year. I think she started quite a long way before then. And she thought that even though she'd been on the carnivore diet for quite a long time, she still had a few issues with her skin that she thought she might be able to clear up by just going pure Lion Diet. And she also wanted to see if she could just cut out coffee as well. So when I watched that, I thought, well, you know, that really does sound interesting, because I'd been dealing with sciatica for quite a long time. When I first started the carnivore diet, it seemed like my sciatica kind of faded quite a bit, but it had been back with a vengeance for a few months. It was quite painful. All I could do was walk, could not jog, definitely could not run. I thought, well, maybe the Lion Diet might actually help me cure that sciatica. Maybe there's still some inflammation that's being caused, even though I've been following the carnivore way of eating for quite a long time. So that's the reason why I started. And I also thought, well, I've been talking about like quitting coffee for a while. I haven't quit coffee since I was in my early 40s, and I'm 52 now. Why not just give that a go while I'm at it? Why not cut alcohol out while I'm at it as well? Why not just, and some people might say, well, why not just cut out everything fun? And that's pretty much what I did. Now, I will get into my recap of what my experience was like and whether that resolved my sciatica, but I just want to go through what I ate, how I exercised in the last week, which is how I've been doing things in the last few videos, just so you can see what I've been eating and what exercise I've been doing. So day 22, started with a boxing workout. Every day I always start with a boxing workout at 7 a.m. or I do a weights workout. So I do a weights workout 2 days a week, and on the other days during the week I do VR boxing. And on the weekends, I just don't do anything at all. And then around late morning, sort of middle of the day, I go for a walk. And on day 22, I had sausages and roast lamb. That was all I ate for the entire day. So I had some at lunchtime, some in the evening. Day 23 was legs and chest workout, walk, more sausages, more roast lamb. Day 24, I had usual exercise, and I had a slow cooked brisket that I'd put on the night before. And then I also had more sausages in the evening. Day 25, I had a lamb roast, and I pretty much consumed that lamb roast throughout the entire day. It's usually about 1.5 kilos, the lamb roast that I buy, the lamb shoulder roast, which is around about 3 pounds. And by the time you take out the bone, that's a good, 3 pounds of meat, a little bit over 1 kilo of meat, and that's usually enough for me for the entire day. Day 26 was another lamb roast, then I had some porterhouse steaks in the evening. Day 27 was the rest of the porterhouse steaks that I'd cooked the night before, some ground beef, and then I also had some lamb cutlets in the evening. Day 28 was a rump steak, lamb roast, and some ground beef, and then I had more lamb roast on day 29, more ground beef. Day 30 was more lamb roast and some more steaks. Do I love lamb roast still? Yes, I do. I just love eating lamb roast. And so simple. It's very cheap here in Australia. It's around about $9 per kilo to buy lamb roast. So it works out super cheap. I don't always like it in the States. And it's just such a flavoursome cut of meat, especially if you cook it in the air fryer. I've got a recipe on how I cook it up here if you want to check that out. Now, I don't usually track macros and calories, but I thought it might be interesting just to give you a bit of an overview of what my macros were generally like while I was doing my Lion Diet Challenge, and how many calories on average per day. I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail. So all I did was I just calculated roughly in Chronometer what I ate each day for a period of a week, and then I've divided it by 7 to give me these daily numbers. Now, if you are new to eating the carnivore way, or you're thinking about starting, then this is not meant to be a guide for you by me giving you these macros and calories, because bear in mind that I may not exercise the same as you do. I'm 185 centimeters, so 6'1". I weigh 92 kilograms, which is a little over 200 pounds. It may not be appropriate for you to eat the amount of food that I eat, or it may not even be enough for you depending on who you are. So you've really got to figure out what's going to work for you. I basically just eat until I'm comfortably stuffed whenever I eat food, and I don't keep track of anything as a general rule with regards to calories or macros. So what did I learn out of this whole experience? Well, number one, what I learned was that you don't actually need any carbohydrates at all to live and, you know, be supremely healthy. Even though I'd been eating the carnivore way since June, which is very, very low carb, there's still, you know, a little bit of carbs in a teaspoon of coffee. There's a little bit of carbs in eggs, like I think 1.5 grams of carbs per 4 eggs. There's a little bit of carbs when you have bacon because it's generally cured with a little bit of sugar. Still just a couple of grams of carbs. Maybe in a day I might end up consuming 10 grams of carbs on the carnivore diet with what I usually eat. And then switching to the Lion diet, there is just no carbs in just meat at all. And so I've learned that I can still exercise and function really well, and I'm still super sharp as far as my brain goes without any carbohydrates at all. And I did that for 30 days straight without any cheating at all. Now, the next thing I learned was that if I wanted to get leaner, then cutting out cheese and dairy does help. I think especially cheese. You can see in this video here, this is what my body composition was like on the first day, and this is what my body composition was like on day 30. And my weight on the scales just hovered around about 92 kilograms the entire time. But I think you'd agree that I'm generally look a little bit leaner there. Perhaps there's a little less fuzz on the chest from the trimming, but I think overall I felt like I lost quite a bit of body fat, but was able just to maintain my muscle mass at the same time. I also learned that eating meat, just meat, is not boring at all. It's the same sort of thought process I had when I first started the carnivore way. I thought, oh, that's really restrictive, you know, you don't have any fruit, veggies, all that sort of stuff. It's not at all boring. And you know, when your body is well nourished, when you're eating food that is right for your body, you just crave it, you just want it. So it was never a problem for me about being bored. I looked forward to every meal, and I'd often be eating the same thing over and over again, like lamb roast, steak, ground beef, or mince as we call it here in Australia. Never got sick of any of that stuff, and never missed things like bacon and eggs and cheese or any of those other things. I like to eat those things, but I didn't miss them, and I really enjoyed the food that I was eating as well. And the final thing that I learned, which is related to the sciatica problem, is that sometimes your diet isn't the only thing that you need to look at to resolve a health issue. And for me, although I can't be 100% sure, I'm fairly certain that my sciatica was resolved when I started sleeping with a pillow between my knees. Now, that seems like a really simple cure, and I was given this idea by a doctor who I interviewed for my other channel, and she suggested this to me when I told her what my condition was like, and within 3 days the sciatica had pretty much gone, and it has not come back ever since then. So, you know, maybe it was a coincidence that I'd started the Lion diet, but I really feel like that was the thing that resolved it for me. I'm still super happy that I don't have to do with that anymore, and in a future video I'm going to do a sprint race with my son Ethan, who's 15. He's absolutely going to flog me because he's a sprinter, but I'm going to really enjoy doing that. It'll be fun just because I can actually sprint, whereas before that would have been just impossible for me. So if you do have some sort of issue and you've switched to the carnivore diet or Lion diet or whatever to help resolve that, and you haven't been getting any results after a really long time, then it's worth having a look at some other modalities as well. And maybe, the way you're sleeping or what you're sleeping on, or maybe just getting some massage, or, there's other things that you can do with your health as well. So I know that your diet is a very powerful intervention as far as your health goes and improving health conditions, but you may want to look outside of that as well. And that's just one of the things that I learned. So will I keep this going? Well, I can tell you I haven't kept it going. The day 31, I went and had 3 coffees in the morning, and it was so good, but I was so jittery for the day. So then I actually switched to decaf for like the next 3 or 4 days. So I was a bit gung-ho to start with, and now I've kind of settled to, I think 1 or 2 coffees a day is actually good, and then some days I'll just have decaf. So rather than being a strict sort of 3 or 4 day coffee drinker, I've kind of moderated that a little bit as well. And I think I look at it as now as it's a bit like, when people do like a juice cleanse or something like that. Well, I'm never going to do a juice cleanse, but if I feel like I've just been snacking a bit too much, or I just want to get some discipline back in my life, then I now know that the Lion Diet is a way for me to achieve that. So it might be something that I introduce into my life perhaps for a week or a couple of weeks. I don't know if I'll do it again for a month, but I'm happy that I was able to get there. And I'm very grateful once again to Nia for actually talking about her experience, because if she hadn't done it, I wouldn't have done it either. So I hope you found this video useful today. I love you all. Keep up the good work as far as your health and your exercise and your training goes. I've been very busy with work, so I don't have as much free time, so I may not be posting as many videos to this channel as what I usually do, but I will stay in touch. And I think you should watch that video over there next. That would be a good one for you. Yeah, that's definitely the right video for you. Check that one out. See you later.